Maria. All right, we sound good. Buckle up. This guy goes, it's done. People have stopped paying for new cars. More like they can't afford it or they're probably not getting approved for a loan. Seemed like they were just handing those things out, though, right? It's just kind of like, how are people getting these cars? It looks like it's all coming to an end. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's the same shit. Let's blow this guy up. We're going to find out today.
Hey YouTube, Untamed here. We are currently witnessing an unprecedented auto loan crisis within the United States right now. 1 out of 5 buyers are actually being denied their auto loans throughout the last 2 quarters here. And when you combine that with the fact that dealerships are seeing an unprecedented level of inventory growth throughout the last 2 years, it really is a recipe for disaster. In today's video, I'm going to dig into the details and peel back the layers of the onion and walk through it all. So please stick with me. So for starters, 1 out of 4 individuals within the US right now is upside down on their auto loan. 1 out of 4 has a negative equity. 40%, or 2 out of 5 individuals who have purchased an EV or electric vehicle within the last 2 years, they too are upside down on their loans right now. The national average negative equity is just over $7,200. It's really no shock that 1 out of 5 auto loans that were applied for throughout the last 2 quarters were denied, because when you look at the price tags of these new vehicles...
Hold on, man. 1 out of 5? That's still... That ain't nothing. If 5 of me, you, and we all go in together, 5 of us, only 1 of us is getting denied, that's pretty good odds. It sounds like they're still just handing them out. I just thought about that. I'm like, wait, 1 out of 5? I'm like, 4 people are still getting the fucking loan. That's awesome. I just thought about that. So it's still bad, you know. It's the business model, though. They've made it so that you kind of have to, even with used cars, even with anyways, whatever. I just thought that was funny.
It's quite jaw-dropping. The average new vehicle price was $48,405 throughout this last year. The average new truck sale price was $64,266 throughout 2024. In fact, with that said, this will come as no surprise to you, but half of the individuals who took out a loan for a new truck purchase are paying over $1,000 per month for that truck. The average monthly payment on a new vehicle purchase across the board...
The only thing about trucks, though, that I will say, and this is something I kind of noticed, you notice how everything's a truck now, or an SUV. No more cars. That's a lie. There's plenty of cars. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying I noticed that, though. It's like... everything's just, maybe it's like, hey, the bigger it is, the more money we make. And if we only give them that option, bingo. We're going to make them think I like SUVs. We've all been duped. I don't know. I just noticed that everything's a truck or an SUV. I don't know where I was going with that. My bad.
Cars, trucks, SUV.
Oh, yes, that's right. But if you have a truck, at least you can make money with a truck. I understand a car, you do Uber, DoorDash, whatever, okay? But at least with a truck, you know, you could do some blue-collar work. You could actually make some money off that truck. So, I mean, $1,000 a month, but you can make a shit ton of money if you know what you're doing with a truck. That's all I'm going to say about that.
You name it, is $760 per month. The average monthly payment on a used vehicle purchase across the board is $525 per month. So when you hear those monthly payments, it should come as no surprise that we did see a 23% uptick in the number of vehicles that were repossessed throughout 2024 compared to 2023. And well, that growth rate, it keeps rising. Now, although I always hone in and focus on auto loans and insurance premiums, there's a lot more factors at play here. Of course, the biggest being just the cost of living at large. Due to inflation, for the most part, the cost of living has just gotten out of hand and really out of touch with reality for so many Americans, right? When you look at how much it costs to pay rent or pay your mortgage, and when you combine that with the cost of insurance premiums over doubling in the last 2.5 years, the cost of groceries going through the roof, everything has just been a compounding issue for people.
God forbid you have a girlfriend. Lord knows how much they cost.
And well, it's become suffocating, and that's abundantly clear when you look at these auto loan delinquencies. So consequently, we have individuals now choosing to keep their vehicles longer. They're choosing to perform that necessary maintenance, the necessary service to prolong the ownership of that existing vehicle. Rather than trading out a vehicle every 3 to 5 years, we're now seeing people teetering toward that 5 to 10 years. How long can they keep that vehicle on the road? In fact, I just did that recently. I just bought a 2013 Lexus GX 460 here, pretty low miles on it, but well, the price tag compared to a new GX 550, well, it's pennies on the dollar by comparison. It may go without saying, but we are currently seeing the highest levels of 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day auto loan delinquencies, people not making payments, since the 08-09 recession. Let that sink in. And I don't...
Well, that's the other classic, what is it? The classic tale. You know, like if you don't actually pay for it, you don't really care. Does that make sense? It's kind of like you waltz in, you go, I'm going to take this car. I don't have the money for it, but I want it. They give you the fucking car. You didn't actually really pay for it. You're making what? You're making your $500, $700 a month payments. But like, imagine if you actually went and spent $43,000 just cash. I highly doubt you're just going to let that car just go. Like, you're not. You're fucking not. You're not. But this is what happens when you just hand out loans, dude. And I've been tempted. Trust me. I've been tempted to go just get a Mustang. Get a Mustang. Even a used one. We'll get into that. Well, but back to this guy. I'm sorry. I just thought about it. It's just, hey, you hand out, you give people free shit. That's what it's like. It's like, it's free. And then you're like, oh, I just don't have to pay this payment. No big deal. They'll just come and take the car. Yeah, of course.
I don't normally get into this level of detail in my videos, but to put things in perspective, we are now seeing a 4.89% of all individuals with auto loans out within the United States being 90 days or more delinquent on their auto loan. That is up from 4.59% last quarter. And the previous quarter to that, 4.17%. So we continuously see this uptick in growth, and in the big scheme of things, those are huge figures to be considering. So although these are the highest numbers that we've seen since the 08-09 recession, I would wager by the end of 2025, we will have passed it. So we do have a lot of people doing what we did. We bought vehicles, and my New Year's resolution, as cliche or corny as it is to avoid auto loans this year. I mean, I love vehicles, I love buying the new cheese just like the next guy, but when you start looking at those monthly payments, combining it with those insurance premiums, it just becomes completely unbearable, right? And especially when you combine it with a terrible interest rate, which is the new norm right now, I don't think it's really worth considering. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, but the best type of vehicle is a paid off vehicle. And
yeah, he's right. Like my car's a 2007. I mean, I'm happy with it, but like, I was comfortable spending 10 grand cash. I was comfortable with that. Now, spending 25 grand cash, just kind of didn't make sense. It didn't, you know. But have I been tempted though to buy one of these, to buy a fucking Mustang? Yeah, I have. I really have. And I think he's right. A lot of people are going to end up doing exactly what he just did and going out and just buying a fucking 15-year-old car. Because look at this. Oh, I was scrolling through this. Even the used Mustangs, right? I don't really care for the red. It's all right. But like, look, 2019, 30 grand. 2022, 40 grand. A 2014 11-year-old car, 20 racks. You got 20 racks on you just to go shit out of your ass for a 2014? It's the classic. I don't think so. You know, I don't think most people do. I don't. Or, okay, you probably do have 20 grand. Or are you going to go spend all of that? Probably not. You know what I mean? I'm not saying people don't have $31,990 to their name. But if that's all they have, they're not going to go drop it on a car. And if they do, well, good for you. I'd like to hear about that. But look at these 2024s, dude. Like 50 grand. I know it says 47,000, but call it 50 grand. Just call it what it is. After tax, tag, and title. Put it in the bag. You'll be whipping around in no time. 50 grand. Another 2024. 50 grand for the yellow belly. 50 grand. No big deal. 45,000. No big deal. Who's got it? You're kind of forced into payments, and I guess it's normal. Everybody's got fucking payments, but people are saying no, dude, and I'm stoked for it. We've been covering cars on this channel a long time, and she's been coming around that mountain. Anyways,
Well, a paid off vehicle that runs. Let's just assume it runs, right? And when it comes to the subprime credit recipients of loans, we are now seeing an all time high. Well, at least within the last 30 years of it being formally tracked. These are individuals with a credit score of 620 or less, right? We're now seeing a 6.15% of all loans out there with subprime credit recipients, I should say, being 60 days late on their loan. So that is the highest that we have seen in the last 3 decades. So it really is a perfect storm of everything coming together. Dealerships are now having to turn away inventory. They're turning away these allocations and deliveries, which is ultimately having an adverse ripple effect on the assembly lines, right? We're ultimately needing to lay off some individuals who are assembling these vehicles because there is no longer a need for them. I mean, just go to any dealership lot and what are you going to see? You're going to see lines upon lines of unsold inventory. And really, we just kicked off.
Dude, all trucks and SUVs. I'm not tripping. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. I really don't.
March 2025, and what are you going to see? You're still going to see a ton of unsold 2024 units just sitting there collecting dust. I would argue that you're going to continue to see that until May, June, July timeframe, and that's my personal opinion when it will be the best time to pounce to try to get that best deal possible from that dealer. Because whether or not they want to admit it, that is going to be crunch time. Crunch time for these dealerships to move this metal, to move that inventory. They need to get desperate and they need to get creative to actually move that inventory. Well, if they don't, that's belly up for them. And you can't help but wonder if a lot of them are just sitting around hoping for a government bailout to happen. I don't think that's going to happen under the current administration. What do you think? Not only are they going to have to do huge discounts on their new vehicle inventory, they're going to have to incentivize those interest rates. So we're talking 10, 15% below invoice and giving that 1% or 0% interest rate over 60 months or 72 months. That's going to be the quote unquote crash that we see this year. Dealerships that are trying to hold firm and just kind of wait this out, well, those are going to be the dealerships that are going to fail. Those are going to be the dealerships that go bankrupt. In my personal opinion, dealerships have one of two choices right now. They can either hold firm to their greedy tactics or cut their losses early. Take losses on their vehicles, move that metal, move that inventory. Even though there may be taking a loss on the vehicle itself, they have opportunities to bring in some revenue from that.
Dude, the Hummer, honestly, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they just made it to where, dude, if they made it so that people had $300 a month payments, maybe like the interest and everything, that people would do it. I would do it. I'd go get a Mustang tomorrow. If they were like $300 payments, I'd be like, yeah, no problem. But I can't justify a $700-800 car payment. I can't do it. I mean, dude, even if you're making $7,000 a month, which most people are not, what are you gonna pay $1,000 of that a month? A seventh of your income to a fucking car, to a Hummer? Who's driving Hummers anymore? That's what I want to know. That's the only way right here. This guy goes, paying $50K for a vehicle that will depreciate $15K in 2 years just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Sorry, automakers and dealers, it's not up to you. No, it's not us. It's you. Yeah, it is. I encourage everyone to ride their cars until the wheels fall off. If the average truck payment is $1,000 monthly, I'd rather keep my old truck and pay off my mortgage earlier. Yeah, I think some people just have a different, some people are just like, fuck it. Like they're just down. They're with it. And I don't envy that. I don't envy that at all. I just don't have it in me. Sometimes I wish I had it in me, like I wish I had it in me to go, yeah, I'm going to go get the Mustang convertible. I actually don't like how the convertibles look, but like, fuck it. I wish I had that because technically I could afford it. Like I could make the payments and I'll be okay. Like, I'll be all right. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, man. But then I look at it for what it is. Am I comfortable going and dropping $40,000 cash right now? And the answer is no. The answer is no. I'm not. It's like I could do so much more with that. I don't know. I have a weird mindset with that. Maybe it's because I've lost everything before. So maybe I have like that fear of it happening again. I swear dealers would rather dump these cars in the ocean than give good deals. The longer that you hold out for failing new vehicle prices, the The longer you hold out for falling new vehicle prices, the more you realize that the car you have is actually great and didn't actually need a new vehicle anyways. I just think a big part of it is people just can't afford it. The government bailout would be a slap in the face. If anyone is paying $1,600 a month for their vehicle loan and they need consulting or concealing. Dude, some people, we're going to end on that note. Some people can afford fucking big money, dude. I'm going to leave this guy's channel down below, Untamed Motors. But some people can afford this shit. They just can. Or, like, it makes sense to them. To me, it doesn't make sense. I guess a lease, I could write it off on my business. That might make sense. Or, like, you know, you get a heavy car, you could write off the whole car. That would make sense. But some people are cool with it. Some people are just like, fuck it. They just, like, it's a part of their life. They're just always going to have a car payment, and they're just down. So, but I don't know, man. You guys leave your thoughts. I don't know if shit's really crashing or if we're just going to talk about this for the 100th time. But anyway, solid talk. Unreal.